Did you know one tiny tomato can give you hundreds of seeds for future plants? A lettuce that's bolted and gone to flower? Thousands of seeds. Today we're diving into seed saving, which is a skill that not only saves you money, but gives you real self reliance. When you save your own seeds, you're not just growing food, you are growing freedom. We will cover why we should be seed saving, the basics, the top beginner crops, the trickier crops, lots of demonstrations, lots of show and tells. We're going to hit storage, longevity, tools. It's going to be a fantastic show. Team replay. Now, I'd love to hear from you. You in the chat as well that's live with us. Have you saved seeds before? Which crops? Drop your stories or questions in the comments, okay? Now, disclaimer, what we won't be talking about: propagation, creating new plants from stems, leaf, root cuttings, grafting, layering, crown division. These are all fantastic ways to keep things going, but we don't have enough time in one show to do it all. We can dedicate this conversation to another um, show. So it's so good to see Jay, Serena, Kevin, Troy in the chat. I do have some help to get through this conversation, and it is someone that you all know. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, Robin from Robin Gardens. If you haven't seen her channel yet, she's based in Zone 5B, right in the Chicagoland area, where she grows an amazing suburban garden using organic and polyculture methods with minimal soil disruption. Robin's garden truly is her happy place, and she shares that joy by showing the ups and downs of growing your own backyard grocery store. Everything from planting and harvesting to preserving, and her master seed saving. With decades of experience and a real passion for sharing the beauty of sustainable growth, she's here to help us dig deeper into the art and importance of seed saving. Let's give a warm welcome to Robin from Robin Gardens.
Hi, everyone.
All right.
This is my topic.
It totally is. If you are not familiar with Robin Gardens, we do have a link to her channel in the description, of course. So, we're going to jump right into why. Why even bother seed saving? It's more than just frugality, saving a penny. It's about building that self-reliance and keeping your garden going, right? Do you have anything
Absolutely.
to add, Robin?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's fun. And I save for the Door County Seed Library up in Wisconsin. And those seeds are gifted to the community through the library system. So that brings me great pleasure to do. Um, And I just like learning about how to save the different seeds because, quite frankly, it can be as complicated or as easy as you want. But back to the frugality part, I like to buy some expensive seeds. We all do. And so if you save some seeds and save money, then you have no guilt when you go out and plunk down some big money.
I love that, because I do still go and buy seed. I'm not at this level where everything I grow is strictly seed saved. I'm still out there experimenting and adding things in every year.
Hmm.
When you do save seeds, you're controlling what grows in your garden. That means fewer trips to suppliers, more locally adapted plants over time, and a backyard that feeds your household, not corporations. Sometimes you have to look at where the seed is coming from when you are buying.
And that definitely that point about it gets stronger and stronger in your own garden every year. It's so true.
It's something that is definitely going to come up a lot in our conversation about why that is such a magical tip, trick,
Mhm.
tool for us, right?
Absolutely.
When we are saving seeds, it creates a buffer against shortages, shipping delays, and crop failures. A community or household with saved seed can replant and recover faster after bad seasons.
So true.
Buying seed, well, and it's like we have seed vaults for countries for a reason.
Mhm.
They're doing it too. Buying seed every season does add up. Like we're talking about prices. We're probably going to hit that again. Harvesting, cleaning, and storing seeds, you're reducing the annual cost, and you can reinvest savings into other things. You can get the fancy tools. You can splurge on soil or soil amendments, or like Robin was mentioning, getting some fancy varieties.
Absolutely. And
When
seeds last longer than they want you to believe. You know, they put the expiration date out there, but most seeds will last 3 to 5 years, easy, often longer.
Yeah, there's like a packed for date on the back or bottom or somewhere on a seed packet. And you'll see at the end of the season right now, things are going to be discounted that were packed for 2025. Most things, which we're going to give you a list later, that's totally okay to buy it and plant it a couple years down the road.
Absolutely. And this might be a good time to talk about this. There are seed viability charts out there that help you know how long a seed is going to last. I like this one, and I actually keep it folded and in my seed box because it has all the common seeds on it, and it's a place to start. But again, you know, I'd have to say the only things that I have found that aren't viable longer than a year are anything in the allium family and parsnips. That's about it.
Okay, I was writing myself a note. We have Rick over here. I see Janet McDonald. Dave Knight is also joining us. It's a great conversation. I know a lot of you have a lot to say or have maybe some questions, so put them in the chat as we go and we'll address them. If you're okay, Robin, I'd like to get into the words of heirloom hybrid. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So when you see a seed packet or you're trying to order online, you'll hear this vocabulary. Heirlooms and locally adapted varieties are living stories. Saving their seed maintains biodiversity, protects genetic resources, and gives you plants that perform in your exact conditions. So here it's heirlooms equals history you can grow. Heirlooms are open-pollinated varieties with a story. They've been passed down through families or communities for generations. Maybe you've heard of like 1500-year-old, cave bean. Usually it's someone in the family or a local person has been seed saving that all over and over and over again, and you're going to get what you seed saved from in the plant. It's the same, it'll duplicate itself. You'll get what you wanted out of it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Open pollinated might be something you see, or OP. Seeds you can trust. Plants that naturally pollinate by wind, insects, or themselves and produce seeds that grow into plants just like the parent. Now, hybrid, and it's almost like I wish they would have made a word that wasn't an H. To have heirloom and hybrid both begin with H, it kind of gets tricky. So the hybrid has a one-time trait. There's two different parent plants that are bred together to get the traits like disease resistance or size. And then that next generation seed, if you saved seed from, they're not going to be true to what you planted. They're going to revert to one of the parents. They might be close to what you seed saved from. They could be better or worse. Let's say you are saving something for flavor and you saved the seed and you grew it again the next year and there was no flavor at all. It could have been a hybrid you were saving. Now, don't be afraid. Seeds just want to grow. You can save hybrids and grow them and see what happens. Do you have experience with seed saving from hybrids, Robin?
I do. I had some seeds that were gifted to me from a friend in Canada. They were supposed to be an ahi mango pepper, but when I grew them out, I'm like, hun, these are not ahi mangoes, but they were delicious. And she's like, oh, it must have crossed in the garden. I'm like, well, you've got a good um, you've got a good outcome here because these are delicious peppers.
Yeah, it worked out. And so some people get afraid of, oh, what if it crosses with something? And it's like we can get into the landrace gardening, adaptive agriculture, growing things, letting them cross. For example, pumpkins crossing with other pumpkins, watermelon. People even do it with corn. You're getting the seeds trained to your type of soil, your microbial activity, your highs and lows, your wind speeds. You're going to seed save from the ones that have the characteristic traits that you're looking for. Maybe it's days to maturity, maybe it's size, color, flavor. You just keep saving from those good ones, don't keep the bad ones, and you modify it into this wonderful thing that wants to grow where you are. They change their traits. You know, sometimes you can have a crop that isn't a nitrogen fixer be put through a very bad growing season, and it will start to, on the next time you plant that saved seed, it might have nitrogen fixing nodules on the roots because it know it needed that and it produced that for itself. Like, this is so powerful. There's survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Looking through the chat. So I am doing landrace gardening from Joseph Lofthouse with watermelon for sure. So I've got them all just in a bag. And then I am going to add more varieties to the patch next year, but the patch has to move, it sounds like. So we're going to work through that next year.
Okay.
Janet McDonald, let's try this again. Anybody raising microgreens and have an opinion? Techie programmers have it as microgreens should be micrograms.
I do microgreens myself. I like to do them on a hemp mat. I grow them on a hemp mat. It's much cleaner than doing it in, seed starting mix. And I just use my leftover seed. If I've got a bunch of brassica seed at the bottom of the box and I don't know what it is, I'll sprout that as a microgreen and eat it. And you can sure save money doing it yourself. I mean, I have a pack here of some microgreens, and this is a lovely mix. It tastes great. But look at that pack was $5.59, and I could seed save that easy peasy. Or I could just go to the bottom of my box and use the old seed up, that I'm not sure will germinate this year as microgreens.
We talked last night at the party where seeds spill, and
Yeah,
all of the brassica seeds look the same. And you can plant them densely together and grow them up as microgreens, which is, 2 inches. It has a set of leaves. You cut it at the soil surface, the hemp mat surface, you wash them, you consume them right away, or you store them in the fridge 3 to 5 days. Use your best judgment. If it looks bad, if it smells bad, don't put it in your mouth, okay? So if you have more specific questions about microgreens, Janet, go ahead and ask them. Do you grow indoors already, I guess, is a question I have. Like, do you have a set of lights and a tray? Or are we starting from scratch? Microgreens could be its own show. And if we get enough questions, we might as well make it its own show.
it's a good winter thing for all of us to do to get, nourishment. I mean, those microgreens are very nutrient dense.
Just the sunflower microgreens alone, powerhouse. Mung bean, powerhouse. And it's when we need those really good bursts of nutrition is in the winter, right?
Absolutely.
So to just top that again. If you want to save seeds that grow the same type of plant again, stick with open pollinated or heirloom varieties. Hybrid seeds are fine to grow, they're just not a reliable thing to duplicate to save. It's an experiment of what will I get. So maybe to help you remember, the OP and heirlooms are a photocopy, the hybrids are the surprise mix. Now, we have a little bit of a list, and maybe this is something we disagree with, or maybe we do agree with this. What are the easiest seeds to save for beginners? Is it self-pollinating crops that have a low risk of crossing with each other, like tomatoes, peppers, beans, peas, lettuce? Thoughts on this, Robin?
I'd say for beginners, probably flowers are the
Mm.
easiest to start saving with, primarily because they're easy. And then I would say like arugula and mizuna are really easy to save. You want me to, I
Let's
can,
see some seeds. Yeah,
seeds.
what do you got?
Okay. So this is arugula. You can see the seed pods there. Um, and all I would have to do is just, burst one of these, and out come all of these little black seeds or brown seeds. And then there's some that I've already saved and packaged. But I mean, this is really, really, really easy to get off the plant just as they're drying. And then I finish them off in my garage. And I haven't even processed those yet. They'll hold in those little pods for me. I have them in a sheet. Some of them will, come out of their pods, but they'll wait for me. And they're really easy because there's not a lot of chaff. Now, chaff is anything that isn't the seed. And, because I'm gifting it away, I want to get all the chaff out. If I'm saving it for myself, who really cares if there's a bunch of chaff along with my seed?
Do you have any other like flowers or beginner seeds to show before I do mine?
Oh, sure. Um, I'd say marigold.
That's a good one.
Marigold is the easiest.
Yeah.
So here's a marigold in my garden right now that's blooming. This would not be good to seed save. Here's a marigold that is dying back. This is not really good to seed save either. It's not ripe yet. These two, this is going to have pretty good germination, and this is going to have a really good germination because it's all the way, dried off. Now to save these, let me get a little, do we have something?
I can pull mine apart. I have a towel ready.
Oh, there we go. I'm
Got
good.
them. There you
Okay.
go.
So the way you do it is see all of these dead petals. Grab this and just squeeze it really tight and then pull the petals off. And those will be discarded. And you're down to your seed. And now out, oops, there we go. Out comes the seed from that. Look at how many seeds are there.
Right.
I mean, one of these is gonna do you in your garden, you know. But the key is don't be anxious and take them before they get dried off well, because you're just not going to have a high germination rate. But that's probably the easiest seed to save out there. Oh, and so then after you have these little seeds, okay, and here, I've been doing a whole tray of them sitting here drying. I let these dry. out here on my table for about 3 weeks before I package them up because I want these to be good and dry.
That is such a good tip. Let them be out on their plate, on their paper bag, on their tray, drying before you want to package them.
It you'll learn. You don't want your seeds to go moldy after you've done all that hard work.
Right. Now I have a question here, Robin, from Kevin. Saving for characteristics in tomatoes. Been saving some cherry tomatoes and there's cracking when it rains. Is there a way to breed that trait out to get a tougher skin?
Sure. It's not my expertise, but they will breed two together. So you would want to use a paintbrush and pollinate uh, two types with one another. But that takes a few years because you have to cross them and then keep selecting out the best ones. But that's definitely not my expertise, but I'm very interested in learning about that.
Going in the chat. I figured it was 25 years, not hours, Kevin. Thank you. Serena says, Robin Gardens, are you selling the marigold seeds?
No, I don't sell seeds, Serena, or at least I'm not right now. I gift them. Last year, I gifted almost 1,000 packages of seeds. This type of little package to the Door County Seed Library to give away in the community through the library system. I should have. I just don't know. I'll have at least 600 packs for them this year. I probably will top out at 1,000 again.
That is just amazing that you're doing that. And we're going to speak more about the importance of that as we go on. We were talking about flowers, and it was super great that she showed the life cycle because you do want like the dry, you need it to be dry. That's when you know. Like when things start to dip and bend and do this, it's nature going, seeds are going to go into the ground, right? Versus
Right.
when the flower is praying up to the sun. I feel like another flower, since flowers are kind of the basic beginner easy stuff. Um, these are in a bag, and I have some here next to me that I can pull apart. This is called calendula, and they're kind of gnarly. So I have,
They look like little worms, the
isn't
seeds.
it? It's so crazy. So I took it off of the plant, and it's very fragile and dry. And I would just go like this over a plate or a napkin or a towel. And now I have the seeds and let them dry. All the seeds, we let them dry before we package them up. And then now, this came from my Mexican sunflowers, Robin,
Mhm.
and it's very, it hurts me. It's very pokey. So, like, where is the seed? I've never,
What I do when I'm doing a new seed is I ask Mr. Google for an image of a
oh, I think I
Mexican
found one.
sunflower seed,
That's a good tip.
and then I know which part because I mean,
Yeah.
frankly, some of the seed heads, there's 3 things that look like it's the seed.
Yes. I think I found it. So I had to use a towel on my hand because these hurt. But there
Uh-huh.
is something, I can't remember what the seed looked like when I planted it.
Oh, there you
I
go.
think that's the seed. And
Yeah.
so, that's a good idea to just Google what does the seed for Mexican sunflower look like because I can't remember
Yeah,
what I
because
planted.
and brown-eyed Susans are pokey like that,
Oh,
and coneflowers, echinacea, are pokey
yeah.
like that too.
This is from a poppy, and it's one of those like just dump it out. They're really tiny seeds. I did get some out of that. I feel like that's another really easy one to seed save from.
Poppies are very easy to seed save, and it actually there's one part that's hard because you
Okay.
need to let that head get nice and dry, but just when it's at the perfect spot, it's at the point where it wants to, like you said,
Dump it out.
you're right.
Yeah.
You got to catch
Gonna
it.
it's gonna do its thing. So if you wanted to seed save to then spread somewhere else,
Mhm.
it's like every day you're checking it, you know? When
Exactly.
we're in that seed saving season part, it's the weather is still important to us. If we know we're gonna get dumped on with rain, we wanna go get all our dry, crispy bits with the seeds in them out
Yeah,
of there.
exactly.
Okay. Heading in the chat. Hello, Big Will Dog 82. Barry says that bag looked like toenail clippings. It's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
So those we're talking about beginner stuff. We are going to do demonstrations as far as we've taken out of the garden and now what. We're going to just keep talking about what is trickier. Now there's a lot of words we could say with this. It's worth learning. Now there's squash and cucumbers and melons and pumpkins. They can cross easily. Need isolation is a word on the screen. Well, yes and no. Depends on if you're trying to just duplicate the same thing or if you're okay with things getting a little adaptive agriculturally, like the
Mhm.
corn is wind pollinated. If you want sweet corn, you can't have it in pollination at the same time as popcorn or field corn or grain corn because it's going to mess it all up. So, trickier ones for sure. Carrots, beets, brassicas are biennials. They need a second season. So, run with that topic, Robin.
Okay. Now that's a labor of love in seed saving. So these are my leek heads, and there's that fly who is annoying me tonight. So this is a seed head of a leek.
Hold on. You might be blocking your mic with the bag. Where's your mic on the talk
Okay,
now? Try
is
that.
that
There we
better?
go. Yes.
Okay, so this is a leek seed
Look at the
head,
size of that. Yeah.
and it has just got hundreds of seeds in all of these little pods. They're little black seeds. We've probably all seen a little seed, and they're just about ready for me to shake, shake, shake in a bag and get them all out. But so I had to grow the leek 2 years ago. Then I overwintered them. And the way I overwintered these was I threw a cold frame over the top of the plants for the winter to help protect that root. Then this year it grew and flowered on my boy, what a statement in the garden that was too. They were
Yeah.
about 4 foot tall. These were like a pink and gorgeous. And then I had to let them dry off. So, it takes a lot of space in your garden for not 1 but 2 years. So this is a labor of love, and whoever gets these seeds, they better appreciate them. That's all I have to say. But I have a ton of leek seeds, to gift here later on this season. And I did take those after they dried, on the stalks to the point where they didn't burst, but were almost bursting. Put them in the garage, and I have that tipped with a fan lightly circulating some air to continue to dry them out.
You know what it reminds me of? A seed in my box. It reminds me of, which I think it's the same family as why. Let me grab it here. Name that seed head. Here.
Ah,
See the black in there?
is
Those are
that
the
a chive?
seeds. Yes,
Okay.
chives. So they did this on year 2. Last year they didn't do this.
Usually they'll do it every year now.
Okay.
Once you get it to going, are those the common chive or is that the garlic chive?
I don't know.
Do they have a flat leaf? or a round leaf?
Okay, when I go back there, I'll pick a leaf and look at it because I don't have a clue.
Is it a white flower?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a garlic chive.
Okay. I grew them next to my fruit trees. There's
Hmm.
one at each tree because when they flower, they bring in pollinators, and I can chop and drop it and it grows again. I'm not really actually eating the chives, to be honest with you guys.
You will. Audrey over at Real Food Comes Dirty, she makes a lovely condiment with them. She pours hot oil over the chopped chives, and it makes just a lovely little something to spread on bread, on toast or something. Yes, Jay, I do have a very cool shirt on today. Check it
Okay.
out.
Okay, let me get you up there. It says grow every day in every way. Shawnee grows, and it has sunflowers, zinnias, gladiolas, and a butterfly, which all have meaning and representation here on the channel. If you want to hear the story of why, become a member, hit the join button, check out the link in the description, and there's a video to tell you. If you want to have your own t-shirt, we do have the merch store open. It has all kinds of things in there. I'm sure you'll find something you like. And during each season, we're going to release a new product.
I also got a sticker for my laptop. It's on the back of where you guys are all uh, looking right now, so I can't show you. I
Right.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
We do have a question from Big Will 82 in the soil. Chives need to be stratified, don't they?
No, they pretty much grow. Uh, they grow without problem. Sometimes they're almost invasive because if you don't catch those seed heads and chop them off, they will just plant themselves.
I'm looking forward to that. I would like them to become invasive, to be honest. Now, ask me how I feel next year when there's baby chives everywhere. We'll see. But I'm going to embrace it in the food forests.
Yeah, in that scenario, I think you'll love it. In a suburban yard, you kind of want a little more a little more
Yeah,
control.
right. Like, I've seen people plant them under their mailbox,
Ah,
and I don't know, I never went back to see if they made a good decision or not with that. Here's a reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the button, and if you are already, thank you. One of the best ways you can support is by sharing the channel with a friend, a neighbor, or another gardener. It's fun when we get all kinds of gardeners together. Now is the demonstration part. Do you have any demonstrations you want to do before I break out my stuff? We do have beans, peas, let the pods dry on the plant. I feel like that's simple.
um, I have all kinds of things. Do you want me to go with a couple, or you want me?
Well, why don't you do a couple and I'll do a couple?
Okay. So, the what do I want to do? Oh, decisions. Oh, zinnia. This is something that everybody loves is a zinnia. And again, here's a zinnia blooming right now, not what you want to save seed from. This is the one you want to save the seed from. And if you just pull these out at the end of the petal, you can see the seeds, those little pointy arrow things. And that's what you want to save. You just break those off and save them. Really, really an easy seed to save. A little tedious, but not a problem. Ah, this is like your poppy that you showed us.
Is that a
And
delphinium?
these are actually snapdragons,
Oh, snapdragons.
and most of these are not viable on here. See, they're still green pods, but this one right here, that's all browned out. If I dump this over, I'm going to have the same looking seed as those poppies, the
Yeah.
little tiny brown or black specks. This one is ready to go the whole way up. And if I dump this over, then we'll have a bunch of little black seeds. So those are really, really easy to save. Now, to Will's point about cold stratification, these like a bit of cold stratification, just like your poppy seeds. So the best time to go out and plant these, I've found, is March. I go out in the spots where I want them to be, and I pull away the snow if the snow is not already melted, and then I drop those seeds and just let them, come up that way. And I've never had a problem. Or you can winter sow them if you want in jugs.
Would you say that's 6 weeks or 4 weeks before your last frost when you say March?
Um, I would say at least 6 weeks before your last frost date, just to make sure. We always get a fuller late snow in
Yep.
some 5B, so we're always going to have cold stratification. You could even do those seeds in the fall. Oh, you don't want to cover them either. Just sprinkle them.
Oh, they need sunlight to germinate? Is that what we're saying?
Well, probably that, and they're so dang tiny. You don't want them to
Oh, to
get,
struggle.
yeah, to struggle to break the earth.
Adam is coming in with how do you, and I said your name wrong somewhere. Was that yesterday, Adam? I'm sorry. I'll just say your first name only. How do your zinnia seeds do? I've always heard most aren't true to seed due to hybridizing one of them. I seed
Well,
save from zinnias and makes a zinnia.
I have saved from both hybrid and non-hybrid. Now, some of them will revert. There's a really showy one that's like this, big though, pom-pom, called State Fair. Um, and I save from that one every year and I get something. I've never, even from the hybrid ones, not gotten something. I just might not get the exact flower. But honestly, this type of zinnia, that's flat. These are the short ones. These are what the butterflies and the bees go for more so than these. These are for us because they're showy. This is for the pollinators
It's a
because
really good point.
that's what they like. Now,
Mhm.
here's another example of that. I would pull the seeds off of this one that's gone brown, and this one's not going to have viable seed. So if I pull these off, see again, you have that um, little pointy seed at the end, and that's what you want to save. That's what'll do it. And since we're not saving these for uh, gifting for ourselves, you don't even have to. You don't even have to take the petal off. Just put them all in a bag. Just make sure you get them good and dry.
I'm not seeing any more questions. If you want to keep going or if you want to switch, just let me know.
Okay. What else do I have? Oh, here's another type of zinnia that's more showy to Adam's question. This is a
Mm.
really showy one. So again, you just pull that off and save that pointy part right down there. That's the zinnia seed. Here's one of the lethal ones, like the one you were talking
Oh,
about.
it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is a type of um, coneflower. I brought the tag. It is called a sensation coral. So I will save seed from this, and it is very spiky. Um, I just, I kind of turn it upside down, and I'll take a tool and get in there and just pull all the little seeds right out and let them drop. But I can almost guarantee that I am not going to have this color echinacea when I'm done. I am probably going to have an echinacea that reverts to, like a normal purple, what they call purple pink. But that's okay. I'm going to put it in a wildflower mix and it's all good in my book. Here's a sedum.
Oh,
Um, I love these because they're low ground cover and they spread and they look pretty on the understory. And this particular one blooms yellow, but you have to wait till those little yellow flowers dry up really, really well. And this is what they look like when they dry up really, really well. And then I will just take those little heads and crush them, and out will come the seeds. Why don't you do some?
sure.
And then I'll get some more things out while you're doing that.
Okay, so I've got, you hear it, 2 types of beans. So I'm looking for that crunch on the pod, and I can feel it. Now let's say we knock something off that isn't crispy crunchy, but it's looking like it's almost there. I do let it sit and dry like in the windowsill until I can do this with it. So I'm taking my hand and see how it opens up for me, and then this is a seed that you can plant, or now you have a dried bean. Now, I do take all my dried beans into a dehydrator tray for 10 minutes. I just can't remember if it's 110 degrees or 140 degrees or 165 degrees. It's somewhere in there, just to make sure that if there was any kind of weevily, wormy bugs inside, the dehydrator is going to get rid of that. So when they are fully dry, I can put them in a jar and store them without the worry of bugs or mold or any of that. So this is what that looks like. And then this one, see how the difference with like the size and the shape? This one is a,
Was that one a cranberry bean?
oh, I'm bumping buttons. No, actually, my cranberry beans jar is in the pantry, which I need to get out of the pantry because I want to plant them next year. One of them is called 1800-year-old, 1500-year-old cave bean, and one is called Good Mother Stollard, if I remember right.
Okay.
Um, and I want to, like I showed in yesterday's conversation, so like the shapes are different. This one's more round, this one's more flat and oval. Um, what was I saying yesterday? Oh, we're going to go big on the beans next year. Now, I did do where I let green beans fully mature, and I saved my own green bean seeds. And these,
Awesome.
they don't look like the green bean seeds I bought. Like, they're not plump. But what I want to do is make a row and label it. We're going to be really serious about labeling next year. That's going to be in the Reflections live stream. And see if these go faster, better, you know, all the things. So we're going to experiment with that. So peas are the same story. And now have you had peas yet for fall, Robin?
I've got pea plants out there, but I think I'm going to end up with just shoots, but I've got my fingers crossed because they are
Okay.
blooming right now.
All right. Uh, you could even back your planting update back 2 weeks if you don't get them this time. But so these are not ones you would seed save. These are ones you would eat. But if I wanted to seed save, I would let this grow to this stage, this dry, crinkly, fully fat pea stage, and then I would have pea seeds, which you guys saw yesterday. I bought a bunch. So then I do have dill, like herbs are another thing. So dill seed you can use in recipes, and now I can plant this, and it self-seeds itself pretty much, which was the plan. And then I have basil.
Oh, they're
So,
great for pickling.
you know, when it, yeah, right? You
Oh,
know,
tell me
when,
about basil because I have some that is drying off right now and I have never saved it before.
okay, so there's, this one looks better. You have that flower shoot, and then I wait for it to, the whole thing and the stem underneath it to really get dry. And when you look inside, you'll see the little pieces
Mm-hmm.
open up.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside of that is going to be a seed, which it's a really tiny. Oh, there was 3 in the one pod, got 4.
Woohoo!
I just
Bonus.
got 4 out of that one thing, and this one smells like lemon. Like, this
Ooh.
smells like lemon, so that means it's the lemon basil. Now, I had all kinds of basil planted together, I don't know if they cross. I don't know, but I
Well,
wanna plant
there's
this.
always a chance if it's the same plant family that
It's
they
totally the same plant family. Green beans. So the more oh, radish. Robin, do you have any radish pods over there?
I do not.
Okay.
If I let any go,
She eats them.
oh yeah, baby. That is a treat.
I'm gonna do one more and then I'll go back to Robin and then I'll see what the chats if they have questions. So this looks like a bean, but it's a cowpea. So same thing, dry on the pod, on the vine, in the pod. Oh, I have another thing to say actually. Whoa, did you see that?
You're ready.
Now they're everywhere. So I grew this kind this year. It's like red. This is my first year doing it. The thing I wanted to say is there's a bunch of people that are YouTube gardeners that have great tips and tricks. And what I learned the other day from Made by Farmers, Made for Farmers, she puts all of these in a pillowcase and twists it and wax it like on the porch.
Uh-huh.
And then this all explodes open. And then you just take out all of the compost and the seeds are in the bottom. And then you can put all the seeds in a bowl and drop them into another bowl in front of a fan. So if there's any weird, like you call it the chaff, right? Any weird particles or bits, that blows off. And then the heavy seed with gravity falls into your bowl. And she does lay them all out to let them dry fully before storing. So you don't have to sit and hand shell things. Some people have machines actually that do that, but you can
Mhm.
use just like the Native American techniques of putting it in something and stepping on it or beating it, and the seed will come apart, putting it in a bag.
I've done that. I've done that with the arugula and mizuna. Put it in a bag and just shake the living kazoobies out of it.
Hmm. Dill is good to seed save from because I think it's one of those easy. Like the seed's pretty big. It wants to go to seed, you know.
Mhm. That's why they call it dillweed.
Yes. Oh, Adam's talking about the seeds just dropping and staying in the soil through the off season and then sprouting, germinating, and growing
Mhm.
themselves without human help.
Yeah, volunteers are the strongest plants in my garden for sure. It's the best way.
Jay has a tip. Open your seeds over a flat fabric newspaper to catch all the popping seeds or in
Yeah.
a bag. All right, Robin, what do you got?
So this is my favorite bean. It is a borlato bean. It's also called a borlati bean. And the only company that I have found is an Italian company called Frankie. And I get it at a Italian grocery store that's kind of far away from me. But I went this year and they didn't have any. So thank goodness I saved my seeds and I have saved seeds this year. So that is another reason to that I advocate, just like you are, save your seeds because your favorites might not be there for you. Um, so I did the same thing, like you talked about. I've got some pods ready to go. These are yin yang beans that were given to me from a friend, and I only had one germinate survivor. So I am saving that so that I can hopefully grow them well next year.
I have a similar situation with my sword beans, my Jack and the Beanstalk beans.
Hmm.
It's got one good pod on it out of the whole plant, and I need it. I really would like it to go to full maturity before it gets taken out by frost, so I can just replant it at this point.
Yeah. Now this is going a little direction, but these are seed potatoes.
That's right.
This is a Kennebec that I grew a condor, and this one's kind of special because it was sent to me from the United Kingdom. I was participating in a challenge, a single seed potato challenge to see how many potatoes you could grow from one seed potato. Now I'll chit those and I'm going to, be very careful with that one because you can't get it here in the US. And this one was grown from a true seed So I got the seeds from Botanic Interests and I grew potatoes from seed. So that was cool. But this year I am going to try to chit this and see if that works because this is an F1. These are kind of special because they're coveted, especially in the United Kingdom, and it's the world record holder for the largest potato.
I
But
have a question coming in from Crazy Life Homestead. What makes it a seed potato? This is a good question.
okay, so it was grown from actual seed, the little seeds that come off the top, but it is an F1. So if I had saved the little berries that come off from the flowers, I would have probably got a potato, but would I have something as tasty as the Clancy itself? I'm pretty new to potatoes. This is my second year growing potatoes. And, I kind of poo-pooed it for years and years and years because I thought, oh, potatoes are cheap and, they all taste the same. Well, guess what? Just like every other homegrown thing, there is a flavor difference when you get it.
Texture.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So if Crazy Life is talking about just the fact of planting the potato, that seed potato,
Mhm,
there is no this one is, this one isn't. The potatoes just want to grow. You know how they sprout from
mhm.
the store or from a farmer? And if you let those sprouts have access to sunlight, you'll get really strong sprouts versus leggy ones. You don't want the leggy ones that are in the dark, reaching and crawling. What I do is if it's green, you know how the green has that chemical compound in it that could cause digestive issues. If
Yep.
I find a green potato from the store, from my garden, it goes in a special spot and it's now ones I'm going to plant.
Mhm.
You can keep planting ones you've grown, or you can keep buying potatoes from the store and plant them. Or there are companies that sell seed potatoes. I feel like, Robin, maybe is it just because of the size or greater quality is why they go, these are seed potatoes?
They're specifically grown to be seed potatoes, and they have to be certified, that they are, you know, bad bug free. Because I order mine from a place in Maine, and when I get the seed potatoes, they have the certifications that they're
Like
you know
no diseases are going to come with them. Like what is it called? Scab? Is that a
yeah,
potato thing?
yeah.
Now, Crazy Life is saying, I asked because I was gifted seeds for russets. So, just to clarify, it looks like a potato.
Hmm.
Crazy Life, is that what you were given? Or did someone give you a seed and they were like, this is going to grow a russet? Because the only potato that grows from an actual seed is that Clancy. As far as I know, that's the only one.
Well, I think other potatoes can be grown from seed. It's just we for years and years and years have used the seed potato.
To time save.
Did it? Yeah.
You know what I just thought of? You know when some potato plants have the flower and then the berry?
Hmm.
There's seeds in that berry, correct?
Right.
That you would then do this process with of grow it, harvest it, have a little tiny potato, plant that one next year, get a bigger potato, I think. But I've never done that.
Well, I'm going to try because I did those from seed, and now I have the potatoes, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to try to chip the potato and do it that way. Save myself some money on seeds. And honestly, I start stuff inside, and then you have to babysit.
I know.
So chitting potatoes is easier than babysitting plants.
Yeah.
As cool as it was to do it from seed, you know, save myself. She had a question about tools. I've got some tools to show if that would be good right now.
Yeah. Do it.
Okay, so
Oh, let me
these are
get you
just
big.
plain old sieves from the kitchen. This one has, larger holes. This one has finer holes. These are wonderful tools to do seed saving in. You can separate the seed from the chaff easily with using sieve. I have tweezers that I use. I have a couple of different kinds, and that helps me pick out chaff and pick out seeds from some stubborn seed heads. So tweezers are helpful. This is one that is very helpful, and sometimes I forget to use it. It's the marking pen to mark because I think I'm going to remember, and I don't. So a marking pen is essential so that you remember what you did. Just save yourself money on containers if you've got the room. This is a gum. This, that came with gum, and it's great for, like beans or a larger pea seed. Medicine holders are great for holding, especially the bigger seed, the squashes, the peas, the beans. These are yogurt. I have a yogurt every day, so I have a ton of these. They make good plant starters too if you burn a hole in the bottom. But, I have all different types of seeds out here on my dining room table. Various, dishes and the plates, help you keep things out and help them to dry. This is an important tool. What are you going to put it in? These are things you can purchase. This is a little envelope. This is a wax one, or I think sometimes they're called glassine. You can put it in there, fold that over, and then make a label to put on it, or just, fold it over and put a little piece of tape. This is my favorite, which is like a little Ziploc bag. I like it because you can see through it and see what is inside. So these are some Anaheim peppers that I'm saving right now and that I've done in the past. I make a label for my seeds that I am gifting away with information about the seed and how to, how it functions, how many days till it germinates and is mature, and do you put it in full sun or not. And you can see I gift way more seeds than you get in your average seed package. Primarily
That's a good point.
I want to make sure that, the people that this is getting gifted to have enough and can germinate something. But this is about the seeds from 20 peppers. So these are really easy to save. I mean, we've all cut a pepper open, and you just, take those peppers out, lay them on wax paper or a plate, and then just let them dry for about 3 weeks.
Yep, pepper seeds are super easy. Once the fruit is fully ripe, just scrape the seeds out, spread them out on a plate, and let them air dry for a week, and that's it. Now, let's say you grew bell peppers. Here, I'll take this off. Bell peppers and hot peppers within each other, and you're seed saving a bell pepper. You might have a hot bell pepper next year.
Yep, just like my friends, the seeds from my friend that are crossed, but it's a delicious cross.
Now, I don't even know what this one is, but I'm going to cut it open since we're talking about it. I
Okay.
could be like, hurrah! It's just I've let it go to maturity, and it is a little soft just because I had it out. And so on the inside, you have all the parts. See, the seeds just are falling out. That's
There you
it.
go. That's it.
This is what I want.
Let those
Done.
babies drive. Done.
Let's see here. Take me off. All right, what do you got, Robin?
Here's another thing. I save all the little silica gel packages that I get, and then you can put these in your container and keep everything dry. That's a really important thing. When you're saving seeds, you want them to be dry. You want them to be preferably out of the sun and a bit cool. So think about that when you're storing your seeds. I mean, I don't put mine in my refrigerator. There's a lot of people that do. And I have really good luck with seed storage. But those are the basic tools, and none of them cost a whole lot of money. I mean, you can use up old envelopes, old pieces of paper. Heck, this was an old thing I got some other seeds in. I saved that little Ziploc bag and then I just marked right over it with what I saved this year, my little pea seeds. So, recycling, reusing, you don't have to spend any money. You can use the same Ziploc bags over and over from year to year. Oh, this is another good one too. If you want to buy something off Amazon, this one is really good. Not only for seed saving, because it's a Ziploc top, so it's easy when you're out in the garden to reseal it. You can see inside of it. You can easily label it. But this one is good when you want to do like herbs for tea or for, just using in cooking after you've dehydrated them. These are food grade containers. So those are really nice if you want to purchase something.
Team Replay, let us know in the comments what are your seed saving must-have tools, or what is your, okay, now I need one of those from this show. I'd love to hear from you. Dusty Flats, hi everyone, really great knowledge here. Money saver, that's right, we use what we have.
Yeah.
Let's get into some more how do we seed save demonstrations. And so I'm going to put this one up, tomato seeds. So I just have a tomato. This is a Cherokee purple, which now, Robin, I want to grow Cherokee carbon.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, look at this thing, roughness. It didn't split, but that's the other thing that happens, and it even has a soft spot. So they're wrapped in a natural gel, the seeds. So what I'm going to do is cut it in half and show you the inside.
Okay, don't buy those Cherokee carbon.
Oh, okay.
I will
Yeah,
get
I
you.
haven't. Okay, cool. Look at that. So I've just cut it in half. So this is what the inside looks like. So now we're going to get a little graphic here. Inside, you can see kind of where the seeds are, right? So I want to take the jelly goopy seed and just squirt it on my pants. And I'm going to put it in a container right now. I'll show you it. It's a bowl. And so I'm getting the seed, the gel, some juice, and it's messy doing this type of seed. So here's what I have. See how it's like, how am I going to get the seeds out of that? Well, you use a method called fermentation pretty much for this. So because they're wrapped in that natural gel, it stops them from sprouting. It lets them pass through an animal's digestive tract, be pooped out, and then still be able to grow a plant. We have to remove that gel the best we can. So putting the seeds and pulp into a container or jar with some water, non-chlorinized water, you can let it sit for 12 to 24 hours. Now, let me take me down. Online, like there's articles in the description and it says 3 days. And it's like, I've never done 3 days. And Robin, what experiences have you had?
Oh, you know what? Years and years of doing it. 24 or 48 hours is my sweet spot. Well, this year it was not my sweet spot. All of my seeds sprouted. And I think it was because we were so dang hot when I was, doing the seed saving. So, I redid some seeds and I only left them in for 24. or I actually just, put them in a sieve, got the jelly off as best I could underwater, and then spread them out on wax paper. And let's see, this is this is what I got, which is fine. These seeds, but if you would see them closely, they still have some of that gel on them, uh, dried. But that's fine. The only thing that means is it might take just a little bit longer for them to sprout. They'll sprout.
So we have Dusty saying, I've never let it sit within them in the water. It was just like, put them in here, put the water in there, swirl it around, throw it through here, smush it with your finger, dump it out on the plate. We're good to go, right? Serena says, there's tomatoes on my pants. Hold on. Mini spoon tomato seeds are so tiny. I surface sow them. How would you go about getting them out of the jar when they're settled in the bottom? You pour it into the sieve.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have this isn't a mini spoon tomato. This is a ground cherry. So it's like there's the fruit that you eat, but the seeds are inside of that fruit. So I could let it dry and shrivel up and like plant the whole thing and just pull apart the seedlings as they all come out of their own little one space, or I could like squeeze it apart and the seeds actually came out on the towel just fine. But it's you can't even see it, They're very, very tiny, very hard to work with. It's one of those moments where it's like we need the tweezers, if you wanted to like individually have one seed per cell. Because we need to start those. We don't need to start those, I guess, ahead of time. All my volunteers produced ground cherries this year. Because look at how many just came out of one, and you forget a ground cherry on the ground. You know that. Bowtie says, they sprouted! Never had that happen, Robin. How deep was the water they were sitting in? Those are fine. The skins are at least disrupted.
Yeah, it was the same as I always do, and usually you get a little scum on the top and the whole thing, but these had sprouted. I think it was all about the heat. It's the only difference over any other year.
Gandalf has the same situation. I left some tomato seeds in the water too long this year and they sprouted, and they are growing strong. I guess I'll grow some tomatoes indoors this winter. Dusty is concerned with the long hot fall. I'm seeing dill resprouting. Whoa. And
Wow.
hope there are still more, otherwise they won't show up next year. Did you grab some of the heads and bring them inside for next year, just since now you're seeing that? Gandalf, I do wonder if you're back. You might not be back from the ad.
You can hit me up, Dusty, for some seed if you need it, because I will have plenty to share.
Gandalf, I saw you yesterday. This ad came in during story time. Here's the weird thing. I had it manually scheduled to be every 30 minutes, and that ad played at 7 minutes. So apparently when I manually schedule things, it doesn't listen. I am very grateful to be in the YouTube Partner Program and getting AdSense from the ads that are watched. And I apologize if it's upsetting and disruptive to a live stream. They're supposed to have options where the ad goes in the chat or the ad split screens with your live, but they don't give us the choice. It's just if they want to do it at their own free will. Ways around it is having the paid premium plan, so you don't see ads, but I still get something from premium YouTube watchers according to how many hours they watch my content. And again, I'm sorry that the ad is disruptive to the show. Dusty, yep, that's all I do. Poor Claire from Farmyard Gardens. Her husband threw out her dishes of moldy seeds.
Yeah. Thought that they were ruined because all of the scum was on the top.
It was a bummer with the story. And it's like, well, we could watch the replay to get the story. And I was very disappointed to see that the scheduled manual slot that I programmed it to do didn't work. So when lettuce bolts and makes flowers, wait until they turn fluffy. It does. It makes like a dandelion top and dry, and then you can rub the tops between your fingers to release the seeds. You'll see the tiny dark seeds mixed in. Just separate it if you want. But you know what I did last year? I just left it out there and the wind did it. And then this year I had a super happy lettuce patch
There you go.
on its own. And I want to have that happen out at the new garden, but none of my lettuce bolted. It's like,
So I tried lettuce last year, and what I learned was they get huge. They get
yeah,
like 3 something feet. And so when they were just at that point, um, just it was a normal summer storm. It just took them out.
they rock it up, man. Yeah.
So what I learned is if I'm going to do it again, I have got to have it caged somehow so that if a storm happens, it won't just take it out of the ground.
I'm going to address this before I cut more seed stuff open because I have some more things here. Bow
Okay.
tie, correct. I can leave it off for the live stream, and then when it's done, turn it on. Now, the numbers game of, let's say I've had 17 people this whole time. We end the live, I turn monetization on, and then I get anywhere from 140 to 350 average in my history of the channel replay views. Great. Then I could feel okay about not running ads during the live. And I was testing the waters. If I had a bunch of audience members who you all have been very committed and have been at every show during this journey for the year of we're going to go live 3 times a week or whatever we did, if people say I really can't do this, I can't have the ads when we're live, I can get it in my routine to have it off because I'm pretty sure that means YouTube isn't going to put ads in at all. Because if I turn it off, they can still put ads, but they get the money. I know for sure ad on the replay. Yes, it's a button I can do. Let's see here.
You need to get paid. Just
It's
get
like,
paid. Get paid.
yeah. What does this say? Gandalf, yeah, my lettuce this year tried to get 7 feet tall. Yeah.
So this is something new while you're getting ready for
Yeah.
your next one. This is the Cushaw. And Maureen over at Diva in the Dirt also grew these. This is my first time. I think it was her first time too.
Yeah.
And they were all about 10 pounds a piece. In my latest video, which came out this morning, made soup from this baby. And I show how I cut it apart to take the seeds out. Well, from one of these, because they're all the same, they're right around 10 pounds. This is how many seeds I got out of one Cushaw. I put them immediately to dry. What I did was, I got all the fibrous gooey stuff that's inside the squash and this separated from the seeds in a sieve, rinsing them. And then I laid them out on a cookie sheet and dried them. And I'm going to still, continue to dry them, but that's how many from one Cushaw. So I'm pretty jazzed about that. But I only have 2 squash going in my yard. I have butternut and I have these Cushaws, and they were pretty far apart. So I'm pretty confident that they did not get cross-pollinated. I guess that's the one thing when you're saving seeds that is possibly the most worrisome is the squash family, because it can go bad. That's why they always say when you're doing the fruit the next year from a saved seed, taste it. If it tastes a little bit bitter raw, that it's no good. It's I don't know. Somebody in the chat, tell me what the name of it is when it all goes
Toxic
bad.
squash syndrome.
That's the one.
And they say you can smell it. Like, you'll
Ooh,
just know this isn't something we should eat. And I've seen many people crossbreed squash and they haven't came across it. And I have not met, but seen online 2 people that did come across it, and they're like, "You'll know." Um,
okay.
looking to see if there's a question before we move on to I have 2 more things to open to see if there's a viable seed in there, because I'm learning. Like Robin talked about it in the beginning. It's another level, another layer to the onion, another exciting thing for us to learn and research. Like we went over super easy ones, and then it's like, what about this? What about that? So what I have is this was a green apple cucumber, so that's why it's round. But I let it go to this color, and I'm trying to figure out if this was the right stage or if it gets darker. So, oh wait, here's what it looks like. So what I would do is in that cavity, now these kind of have a gel on them, take the seed and I would rinse it like we've spoke about, and it feels full. You know when you pick a seed is flat, like that's not a seed that's going to make a plant. This one feels good. So I feel like I have the right stage. Now I am doing this with the burpless cucumbers, and I grew pickling cucumbers. I grew them all together. So they've all been near each other. So now I guess we'll see if I've crossed cucumbers or if they don't cross. I don't know. They cross, right, Robin?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Cucumbers with crust.
So if you guys remember me talking about zucchini and how much I don't really care for it, this is a, oh, here, Bowtie says, do you ferment your cucumber seeds? I wouldn't let them sit in water unless I felt like the gel wasn't coming off with just a swirly rinse in a jar and dump into a sieve so you can. Do I have a banner about cucumber seeds? No. So I grew a Magda squash, which is a summer squash, and it was green, and you harvest them when they're little. And I let it go to this. It turns yellow, it gets big. This is what it looks like on the inside. So it looks like I picked it too early for seed saving, to be honest. Now I do see over here some that, like, that one's full. So this possibly would give me another one. And you might be going, why are you saving seed from a food you don't want to eat? Well, because I can. That's why.
Because it's cool.
Pretty much. I did like it in the soupy form. Like, I cut it really thin and I caramelized it in a pan and then put it in a soup. I could eat it that way. Otherwise, no. Don't give me ideas either. I don't like any of them.
So the seeds from the butternut squash are very coveted in this house. Butternut squash seeds, when they are roasted with a little olive oil and then some paprika, salt, and pepper. Yum. So tasty. So good thing my butternuts is an F1, so that means it's a hybrid and it can't really be seed saved with good outcome. So we can eat them.
So I grew like a Waltham butternut, I believe is what the original seed was, a butter bush, and a honey nut all in the same patch. And I will be seed saving from all of them. And I
Okay.
have been seed saving the last garden my mother grew had butternut squash in it because that was something she loved to eat. And
Mhm.
so we have seed saved from her crop, and we do keep those in the freezer actually. And then
Okay.
every year we grow, we pick a couple and we add them to the seed bag, and then we plant them every year. We've done the same thing with, she had originally picked like a Cinderella pumpkin that was pink, and I think it was some kind of Hubbard squash pumpkin, Jardal gray green pumpkin,
Mhm.
which don't stay true to that. Like, they've turned all kinds of shapes and all kinds of colors because it wasn't an heirloom. And I've tried explaining this to my family because they're like, why isn't it pink? I would have to just go get that seed and plant that if I wanted a true pink one, where now I'm experimenting. I'm keeping orange ones and flat ones and round ones. And so we have a special bag in the freezer for my mom's pumpkin seeds. And then if you saw yesterday's seed haul, we're adding other pumpkins to it. And I want to keep track of, these are the ones that I want to use for carving. These are the ones I actually want to try eating. We're going to introduce more pumpkin made things in my family. And then we also have a whole nother category of winter squash that I want to do now. Winter squash that hopefully are more resistant to the squash vine borer is what I hope, but I might have picked ones, I have to look it up still, that the squash vine borer wants to eat. So then I'm going to come up with a plan of planting specific crops at the base of the squash to try and keep it out.
Yeah, squash vine borer is a nemesis here too. This butternut and the Cushaw are both in the family. Is it Cucurbita maxima that is the one they like? And Cucurbita pepita? It's hard to remember which is which, but
Yeah,
there's
we need like a song, a jingle to remember the.
which is which. But those two, I mean, I picked them specifically because I just didn't want the heartache of having the squash vine borer take it out. It was like why I didn't do melons this year. I just it was such a heartbreak to have my melon patch taken out last year by the cucumber beetle.
Okay, so these squash vine borers really like Cucurbita pepo, so that's your summer
Okay.
squash and certain pumpkins and zucchini, and they also like Cucurbita maxima, which is your buttercup, and Hubbard. Hubbard is a trap crop for them. You would grow your Hubbard far away from the rest of your cucurbitas to then make them go over there and then burn them. And then the one, the Cucurbita machata is the one that's resistant.
That's the one
That would be
that's what these two are.
so I did not look up if I bought Cucurbita machatas. And then now, actually, so here's a little secret. At the farmer's market, somebody's growing this beautiful winter squash that has a funny name. It's like a woman's name, and I want to go buy it and save the seeds and grow it. So you can go to the farmer's market and buy things we're talking about and get the saved seed. Like, for example, Robin, garlic.
Oh, I have garlic right here.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so I have two that I just purchased. This is Montana Zemo, and this is German White. I purchased them because I like big cloves in my hardneck garlic. And I purchased another one up in Door County. I marked it Door County, DC on there because this one I grew up there last year and it had nice big cloves. But the person that I purchased this from didn't know what it is. They've just been saving the garlic for years and years and years. And then I have my own garlic that I'm going to, be planting. And if you've never done it before, what you're going to do is separate this out, just like when you're cooking, and take those individual cloves and plant those cloves in the ground with the pointy side up. And don't remove the inner skin on them. Leave that skin intact. I like to plant them with some bone meal. This year, I think I'm going to plant them with bone meal and a little bit of alfalfa pellet as well. But that's another thing that's a seed, like the potato. It's just that it's the clove of the garlic. Now we go through a lot of garlic, so my sweet spot is somewhere around 100 bulbs for the two of us because we really like our garlic. And I mean, people would say, "Oh, this is fine," but this was my average size clove this year, and
Oh,
it's
that's right. You had small
these
garlic.
are small for me. That's why I reverted and bought some, online to see introducing that back into my thing will get me bigger ones. These are fine. They taste
Yep.
fine. They cook fine. It's fine. I just like bigger ones. They're less fuss than all the little ones.
So what I've learned,
Mhm.
cause that's what we do. We learn as you grow, right? So I love to plant my own garlic that I've planted already. Now
Uh-huh.
I don't there's all kinds of different ones that I've done, so I don't even know. I don't actually keep track. So what I've learned is in the bulb of the garlic, I want the cloves to be fat and like 3 or 4 versus little and have like 8 to 10.
Mhm.
And so when I'm looking for garlic to save for planting, seed garlic, like we did it on a live stream, I put those ones aside to duplicate the less clove count, but they're more large.
Mhm.
That's what I want for my kitchen.
That's
But
me
you
too.
guys might want more cloves, but means they're smaller per clove. This is where we have that power in seed saving. You fine tune it to your situation.
I have a girlfriend who wants the tinier cloves, and she does about 16 because that's what they use. 16 would, would never handle it for Al and I. We love garlic and everything.
We're gonna go through some more banners, and then we are gonna have a little Q&A for whatever we haven't talked about so far. Storage tips after everything's dry. We are repeating ourselves here. Label the seeds with the name, the variety, the year. Store them in a cool, dark, dry spot like a jar in a cabinet. Some people do have like seed fridges. It's like a mini fridge and it's
Mhm.
just for seeds. And some people just mix them all together. Like these are all the beans, these are all the watermelons, instead of going, this is a crimson sweet, this is a baby, the drier and cooler they are, the longer they'll have their viability. But we did touch on this earlier. Not every seed lasts the same amount of time. Some fade faster than others. So like the thing you have to remember is like the alliums and the parsnips, like Robin mentioned. You have really only 1 year. I wouldn't even say 2. I would say 1 year you have.
One, one.
Yep. Apparently, according to the research today, 3 to 4 years for the lettuce, peppers, carrots seeds before they're less likely to germinate for you, and over 5 years on things like your beans, tomatoes, cucumbers. Always write down what the seed is, what variety it came from, and the year you saved it. That way you'll know what you're planting later and how fresh it is. So, which crops do you have questions about specifically when it comes to saving seeds? Drop them in the comments, put them in the live chat. Let's see if we can problem solve some stuff while we're going over some other things. I feel like sunflowers, we didn't say, that's another really easy one to save seed from, but the birds want to eat it too.
Yeah.
They want to eat all the seeds just like anything else. Now, we talked about tools or materials. Did you have any more things that maybe you forgot to show, or did we cover that?
No, we pretty much did. Again, when you're saving it for home, you don't have to get all the chaff out. But one more thing I do is I put it on a white plate sometimes to separate out the chaff to just get the pure seed.
Okay,
But when you're saving it for yourself, who cares?
I agree.
It's just time.
That's right. Well, I like to save the seed projects for the winter. Like you said, like just leaving it like this, and then I'll pick it apart in the winter when I have a
Mhm.
day that I need something to do.
Sure.
Now, let's actually list and name those mistakes that happen to new seed savers and how we can avoid them.
Oh, the biggest mistake is don't bring the seeds into the house this time of year because it's just full of bugs. Like the stuff that I brought in here, I just like scoured it really, really hard, and I still brought in a spider that I had to get. Um, Try to do them outside or do them in your garage or something, uh, to the point where you're not bringing bugs in the house because
I think
that'll make you sad.
Yeah. And I think all of us might have a bug story as gardeners for inside. You know, we all have a bug story. The other thing I hear a lot about is my seeds went moldy. Now what do I do?
Start over.
You know, we talked about how things have accidentally sprouted when we didn't want them to. It happens, you know? Seeds just want to grow, you guys.
It does. And I always think about those people that put the seeds in the refrigerator. And one thing that scares me about that is my refrigerator's moist.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't put them in the fridge.
It's a moist environment, and I just have too much stuff in there anyway. They'd get they'd get they'd get ruffled.
The only time I put seeds in the fridge is in a baggie with some soil and some like a wet paper towel because I want them to go through cold in a controlled environment before planting outside versus planting them in a cold frame or like a milk jug situation.
Mhm.
That's the only time I feel comfortable putting seeds in my fridge. Otherwise, I've done freezer for really large, hefty seeds, and honestly, I keep them in a closet in a container or a baggie or a jar, and then we plant them.
Yeah.
Before I get back into the questions, Brook Trout 1 is saying, has anyone cut back pepper plants? We just did, and it's growing great.
I've never overwintered one, but there's lots of people that do it successfully.
Yeah, brook trout's in Florida, I believe, so long growing season, right? I'm
Ooh,
up
so you
here.
can keep them actually outside.
I'm
Mm.
in Minnesota, and so what I've seen is uh, top of the pepper plant produced peppers and was done, and it was starting to flower, but I had peppers down here that I wanted to mature, and we were in September at the time, which normally we get a frost early October. And so I go, I don't want it focusing on the flower. I want it to ripen this down here. I topped it. I cut it off. But we still had heat and time. So it started to sprout new life, but it is going to be wiped out here soon. I've actually ripped them out, to be honest. I've taken out my peppers. So I've done that where I've cut them and seen new growth come because it's still root in the ground and has access to the correct temperature, moisture, sunlight, all that stuff. I have taken peppers that I grew in a bucket and brought them inside after you've trimmed everything off and it's just a stick. And I didn't do something right. Either it got too cold up there where I had them in the house, or I overwatered them and they rotted. Like I couldn't keep it 6 months in the winter before it can even go outside to then go and have a head start. I just start fresh from my peppers. Bowtie says sunflower seeds are big seeds. If you bury them a little, doesn't that solve the bird problem? I'm not sure if you're making a joke, so I'm going to take it seriously. When the sunflower head has formed its mature seeds that has the yummy eatable seed inside and it starts to drop and dry, the birds are coming and sitting and eating it. Unless I've put, oh, Robin, we didn't talk about what are the uses for these.
Ah, well, that's if you want to isolate the blossom to prevent it from being cross-pollinated. So let's say you had this zinnia that you wanted to make sure stayed true to what it was. You would isolate it. You could hand pollinate it and isolate it to keep it true. I have a neighbor who does that with her zinnias.
Takes it seriously. And
Takes it very
then the
seriously.
second part to this is when I go to plant a sunflower seed, planting it twice as the size of it, you know, it's
Mhm.
just sometimes you just go to your first knuckle, that kind of thing. Uh, birds like to come in there and pick the seeds out. So some people actually pre-start sunflowers for that example. Sometimes you can put like cayenne pepper over the surface. I don't know if all birds, like some birds, they don't taste heat. Um, so tricks to keeping them from eating the seed. Make sure it germinates fast. Plant more. Bowtie says there's a mistake. Some people put seeds on too dry on paper towels. Try parchment paper or a coffee filter. Talking about because it sticks to the paper towel.
That can be a problem and it can't be a problem. Like, if you wanted to save tomato seeds, like a super easy way, just, take that whole, just like you showed us with the jelly from that Cherokee purple, and smear it right across a paper towel, right on the paper towel, Cherokee purple. Let that sucker dry, and then you can cut the paper towel. And then when you go to plant it, you're going to plant that stuck seed on the paper towel and everything right in the hole. It's all good.
You know what this makes me think of, Robin, which maybe we should talk about? Seed tape. It's like you just made seed tape.
Yep, I did. I made seed tape for carrots. I used flour and water as my glue, and I made a strip of newspaper, and then I placed my carrot seeds, so I didn't have to thin it. I actually did that for up north for that garden, so that my compadres in the kitchen garden project didn't have to thin.
Oh, here's a tip from Margaret. I lay burlap over my row of sunflower seeds, keeping them covered kind of like with carrots, so nothing can come at them from up here. Then once they're germinated and strong, you take that off. Yeah.
I have to cage mine, and it's just this year I'm giving up because the squirrels. It's the squirrels. It's not the birds. It's the squirrels.
Gandalf has another tip, putting vinyl window screen around the sunflower head to let it dry and keep the birds from getting the seeds. Yeah, because have you ever grown mammoth? I mean, that head of that flower is not going to fit in that bag. I like that. So let's go to. Oh, this was coming up cross-pollination, which we talked about the isolation, what to do for small space gardens. Honestly, my tip is don't sweat it. And we talked about covering just now. Do you have anything else to add?
Sometimes it can be really fun. I love snapdragons. Snapdragons are my flower. And you get some of the coolest colors when you just let them cross with each other.
Yeah,
I have some that are like a burgundy with yellow and peach. I've never seen those for sale. They're
right.
cool.
Yeah. Uh, how do you keep your seed collection organized and labeled?
Oh, okay. Some people would be amazed, but once I get all down to it, this is what I keep. This is my vegetable one. I've got, labels and my seeds in it, and it's only that big. This comes from like a hobby store, the case, and that's my vegetable seeds. And then I always keep a list on the top of stuff that I need to replenish that I know I want again because I'm old school and that works. And then for my flowers, I just have another little one. Same thing, it's got labels on the inside, and that's my flowers. And I keep my viability chart inside there. And that's it. That's my uh, working seed collection. People think, oh, Robin's got, boxes and boxes and boxes of seed, but I don't. That's about how much I keep.
I do from the craft store, you get the photo cases,
Uh-huh.
and then they go inside the suitcase. And what I've loved to do since last year is if I'm going to seed start in February, those seeds go in this box, and that's what I write on the outside. Next box is seeds to start indoors in March, seeds to direct sow in May. I put everybody in when they go versus here's all the tomatoes, here's all the peppers, here's all the. Well, that was a bad example because I actually keep all the tomatoes and peppers in their own box because there's so many of them. I need to pick a couple out of there for the year. I can't let go of them yet. Maybe I should donate some, but all the other stuff like carrots, lettuce, beets, I have varieties for we're going to plant it this month, and then we're going to plant this one in the next couple months, and this one's a storage variety, so we're getting that for the fall garden. That's how I organize my seeds, but I also have an old diaper box or wipes box, and there's things that I never grew yet but bought. Like I have wheat and rice and a big bag of beans in there and popcorn. So, sometimes it's just what I have on hand to stuff seeds in. I have an ice cream pail that has some loose seeds in it that don't have a label, but I think I remember what they are. And so this winter we'll work on packaging and labeling. Um, let's have you talk about what role do community seed swaps or seed libraries play in keeping varieties alive?
Oh, the Master Gardener group that the Door County Seed Library is attached to works really, really hard at keeping some very local seeds alive. There's something called the Ken Pashy bean seed that they've worked very hard to keep alive for, many years. And there's some other varieties as well. So that's really cool. And the thing about the community up there is that there are a lot of people that are living check to check. It is an area that is tourist dependent, so they have to make the bulk of their money during the tourist season. And so during tourist season, a lot of the local workers have to have 2 and sometimes 3 jobs to make it. So I just love the fact that those seeds are available for people.
Let's repeat what you do with thousands of seeds each year for those coming in late.
Um, I save them. I save them and I package them up, and then I gift them to the Door County Seed Library. And then those seeds go through the library system in the county and they are distributed. It's kind of cute. They have the old, like Dewey Decimal card catalog drawers, and they have all the seeds in it. And one of the ladies in the group has painted the fronts really cute with the vegetables and so forth. So, I mean, it's a great system. I mean, we were gifted like 10,000 packs of seeds last year, and that was a great shot in the arm. So we're kind of worried this year about uh, if we're going to, have enough seeds, because there was definitely a glut of seeds, but there wasn't that much left over.
Okay. People actually used it.
Yeah, they went out. They were taken. So yeah.
Keeping the varieties alive, I think, is a really, like, if you had to take anything away from this whole show, keeping the varieties alive, keeping the things that grow well in your area, connect with local seed saving opportunities, seed exchange, is that what they call them? Seed parties,
Seed swaps,
seed swap, that's the word.
we talked about that. I have actually never been to one.
Me neither.
So I have got to seek that out this year and do it just for Heather.
So our extension service does list them, and most of the master gardeners put them on, and it's usually at a fairgrounds. And so, uh, what was I gonna say? I just oh, I'm in a Facebook group, Minnesota gardening group, and the admin for the page even puts a schedule in there, depending on where you're at in Minnesota, go catch a seed swap, and I've never gone.
So when Carol had that one on her channel, and we talked about it, and I looked stuff up, and I'm like, well, heck, that's like 30 minutes away. That's easy peasy. I could go drive and do that one.
Yep, there was one 15, 20 minutes away, and I didn't go, for my own reasons, but it's like, that's on the list of things to try, absolutely. Is there one variety you're most proud to have preserved or passed on? What's the most meaningful story behind a seed you've grown, Robin?
Hmm. I don't know that I've got one, like super meaningful story, but I do have to say that my arugula, I love my arugula. I have saved that one the longest, I think, of anything. That and the snapdragon seeds are the longest. And it is a very delicious variety. It is very hardy in my zone and in my garden. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I spoke about this during the show and in a members only video and across just it comes out. I just love that my mom has left seeds behind for
Mhm.
me to grow, and I'm gonna do my best to do the same thing for my children and be better at labeling. And, I need to make a blueprint of the perennials because the tags are getting destroyed in nature and the trees outgrowing the tags, and I need to make a blueprint of what I've been putting in there. Um,
You
I
know,
do wanna oh, go ahead.
when when we sold our first house, I really wasn't sad to leave the house. I was sad to leave my yard. And I made a whole picture of what was planted in the yard for the person who was purchasing it. And she gave me a big hug because she was a gardener and that, she had a map of what was going to come up.
Because sometimes it's in the earth sleeping.
Yeah,
And it comes when it comes, and it's like, "What?" When you buy a property. That was super nice of
exactly.
you. Yeah.
And it was so funny. People are like, "Oh, aren't you going to miss that cute little house?" And I was like, "No, but I'm going to miss my yard."
I know. Absolutely. I do wanna remind everyone that you can grow with seeds just from your pantry. I can't remember if we've done a whole show about this or not, but we can in the future. What comes to your mind, Robin? Seeds from the pantry.
So everybody in you on the UK channels was growing this Roman bean, and so I was in the store and I found a package of something marked Roman beans, and I said, "Okay, I'll bite." And I planted them, and they grew, but they weren't the pole type beans that everybody else was growing. But they were a bush variety. It wasn't the bean that everybody in the UK was growing, but it was delicious. And I grew it, oh my God, for cheap because you know how much a package of beans are in the store
Yeah,
compared to a package of
yeah.
bean seeds.
Beans are for sure a little secret of you can buy the dried bean from the store and have a plant. Popcorn, lentils, um, we talked about potatoes and garlic.
I sprouted the mung beans from the store from a mung bean package.
Yep, yep.
Um, that was much cheaper than buying them uh, as they sell them for the purpose.
Yeah, I could create a hard list for everyone and do a show about it if I haven't already. I don't remember if I have, to be honest. We do have in the description the link to Robin Gardens, our merch store, how to join memberships, and then there's the University of Minnesota Extension seed saving guide, the Gardenary seed saving rules, Johnny's Seeds, Epic Gardening, and then going to seed.org is the website for Joseph Lofthouse and what he's doing and books he's wrote and videos and interviews and like his whole thing. And of course, our playlist for the self-reliant garden, which this live is going into, because we need to take responsibility. Okay, we need to learn this skill.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say, hey, thank you, members, for being a part of Shawnee Grows. You all make such a difference in keeping the community thriving. Your support, the encouragement. I love the comments. Please leave comments so I can read them and have a conversation with you because I know we all have different schedules and times of when we can be together. You're the roots that keep the garden strong. If you'd like to be a member, it is 99 cents at the minimum. There's a couple other tiers, but it is what it is. And
Mhm.
remember, if you've enjoyed today's show, hit the like button. We want to see the thumbs up. Share with a fellow gardener, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you know where the button is, right? Do we have any final thoughts before I do the closing, Robin? Did we get it all in?
We got we got way more in than I thought we were going to get in. Just start. Just do it, you know? Um, Start with a flower. Start with something that you see in the garden. Just make sure it's good and dry and that it's really, really extra dry before you store it and keep it cool and plant it next year.
And then plant it. Yes, and then keep going. If we just add each year, I'm gonna learn how to seed save from this plant. Like this year it was I'm really gonna try and seed save all the cucumber seeds that I can. Because I might have a grow season next year where the cucumbers don't want to be alive. And so I'll have extra seeds, right? Because I'm not going to plant all of them next year. I'll keep some just in case that thing happens and then keep saving as we go. Uh, let's see. We have some compliments from the chat. You ladies are wonderful. Resources on YouTube. Thank you, Big Wheel Dog.
Thank
Dusty
you.
says, yes, make sure the seeds are dry if we could learn anything. Some things take a really long time to grow from seed. Asparagus is one of them. That's hardcore.
I do not have an asparagus patch. I
Do you
wish
want
I would
one?
have, I wish I would have started one. I don't really have a spot for it.
Okay.
Um, I have a very large yard. I am very fortunate, but it's the right amount of sun and space.
Back
You
up against the fence. Would you do it there?
know, no, primarily because all of the neighbors around the fence line use chemicals.
Oh, that's not okay. Mm-mm. Now you're limited to I have to go in so many feet.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions coming out in the chat. Remember in the replay, ask questions. What do you want to save seed from? Let's have a conversation. Let's connect with resources, videos, images. This can be a future show. We can go into, like we said, that we're not talking about tonight was the whole propagation with roots and cuttings and leaves and stems and splitting up perennials and digging up bulbs and corms and like there's so many other ways to duplicate plants and save your money, right?
Absolutely.
Seed saving is more than a gardening skill. It's a survival skill, a money saver, and a way to preserve history in your backyard. Every time you save seeds, you're planting a future of abundance and self reliance. Grow every day in every way, grow your own seeds. I hope that we've encouraged you to try it or keep doing it. I will see you probably Monday for a pop-up live stream. I'm not sure if it'll be educational fall checklist guide or if it will be let's hang out and chat, but I am off work on Monday. So that's when you will see me again. Robin puts out videos on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays this week, I put it out today. I was tardy.
So make sure you are subscribed to her and like we say, grow every day in every way.